news out of Chicago, where there's going to be a runoff for mayor that does not actually include the current mayor of Chicago, Democrat Lori Lightfoot, who failed to win a large enough percentage of votes to make it to the runoff. Instead, it's going to be a battle between tough on crime Paul Vallas, I don't know if it's Vallas or Vallas, I'm not sure, versus leftist and former Chicago Teachers Union member Brandon Johnson. This is a huge upset for Lightfoot. It's, producer Paige and I were talking about it. It's kind of like Karen Bass versus Rick Caruso, but actually not, because Bass is far more of a establishment Democrat, if you will, than I think even than Brandon Johnson is. So let's just go into like their backstories a little bit and how different of a race this is, and sort of get your guys' thoughts on it. Because Lori Lightfoot, by the way, okay, maybe let's just go into Lightfoot. She, okay, to her credit, she's like horribly dressed, and you know what? It takes guts to wear such terrible outfits, but a few things that she's done. She this was actually kind of sick. She bragged on a Zoom meeting that she had the quote biggest dick in Chicago, which obviously, look at those pants.
I would vote for her.
She actually has one leg.
Damn. She sort of ran as more of a progressive, but she backed away from a campaign pledge to support an elected school board in Chicago. She backed away from police reform she promised. She resisted demands to digitize complaint records on police and stalled efforts to create a civilian oversight body with more powers. There was a botched implosion of a coal plant in the Mexican neighborhood of Little Village under her watch that created a 400-foot toxic cloud. Let's see. So they kept, I guess, the results from that secret. Lots and lots and lots of things that people are unhappy about Lori Lightfoot. So who are these alternatives? And interestingly, Vallas and Johnson have been on the opposite side. So in 95, then Mayor Richard Daley, handpicked Vallas to become CEO of CPS, of Chicago Public Schools, which came under direct mayoral control that year rather than being run democratically after a Republican drafted bill designed to centralize power over the education system passed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what did Vallas do as he was a teacher? Remember, Brandon Johnson was part of the Chicago Teachers Union, former teacher. Vallas, his tenure included attacking and vilifying the teachers union, privatizing services like custodial staff, firing educators, elevating standardized testing as a primary marker of student and school achievement. That created a path to close underperforming schools and replace them with charters. Yes, like every fucking city. In line with his business model for education, Vallas slashed school budgets and ended key CPS programs. He also paused pension payments for CPS workers, moved money into a general fund, led to a disastrous consequence for school districts and budgets that are still being felt. So what about Johnson? What did he run on? Brandon Johnson, his stated priorities include increasing funding to neighborhood schools, year-round youth employment programs, reopening the city's public mental health clinics, shuttered by the OG asshole Rahm Emanuel, reducing fares on public transit, investing in new affordable housing, instituting a Chicago Green New Deal to boost environmental protections. And he's, of course, proposing real estate taxes, luxury taxes in order to pay for that. Quote, the ultra-rich and large corporations continue to benefit from the subjugation and isolation of poverty, and my budget plan speaks to these critical investments. So it's a little bit, if I were to LA-ify it, it feels like if the people's budget here in LA and BLM LA were to run a candidate and that person were going head to head with Caruso, rather than, I think, Karen Bass, who TBD, of course, she just assumed office, but I think is much more not about to restructure the budget. But anyway, I'll kick it to Raph. I don't know. Any thoughts on this?
Well, I'm a member of Working Families Party, and they do their homework when they research people, and they're backing, of course, they backed Brandon Johnson, of course. But Lori Lightfoot, really, the big lesson I feel like from her campaign is, and it's a lesson to all electeds around the country, if you kind of ran a little bit in the middle, but your street team was progressives because they were trying to help you win over a fascist or whoever, you don't, there's a cost for abandoning them when you start legislating, when you start taking office, and this is the cost, and this is going to continue to happen. You just don't have that team anymore, because I'm going to be honest, the people who are knocking on the doors in the rain, in the cold, during COVID, during electrical shutdowns, you name it, are the left. And if they've somehow decided you're strategic, even though you're in the center, you're strategic enough to like push back fascism, push back corporatism, push back Wall Street for a little moment, so we can continue to organize. You should see that as a warning, because if you don't feed us, like we won't come out.
Yeah.
And when we don't come out, you lose.
Yeah. That's so true. I mean, he did serve 2 terms and he did win, but it sort of reminds me, I mean, I feel like looking at the Obama administration and not learning the lesson that, I don't know, I guess he was someone who never really felt the way the left didn't come out for him, but he's definitely a case in that, using a movement to get into power and then kind of like appointing and assigning all the same old status quo, admin beltway assholes into high positions, and not sort of like using that movement to your advantage, or like making good on your promises and whatnot. So, but yeah, Laura, it is a really important lesson in that. And I'm glad, I mean, look, who knows what's going to happen? Paul Vallas might very well be the next mayor of Chicago, and he might whatever his tough on crime. I actually don't really know the platform, but I know the platform, and I think y'all know what I'm talking about. Where it's like, yeah, we've heard this same, "I'm a businessman, I'll turn everything into a shopping mall," like, like, okay, so, and we know that's worse, but it's a little bit of a, we get to see the Bernie Trump matchup on a local level.
Have you seen the photo of Lori Lightfoot with the beer?
No, but is her giant dick next to it?
Well, yeah,
it's
helping her walk. But there's just like this side. If you just put on Twitter Lori Lightfoot beer, it's the sad. It's when she lost and she's just walking out alone with a giant, I think, 32 can case of beer in the dark. It's just really sad.
Hang on.
Satisfying.
Hang on. We have to.
Yeah, I'll put it.
See, the name doesn't do it for me. I heard Lori Lightfoot and I was like, isn't she in jail for getting her kid to college with a water polo scholarship or something?
Oh, right.
Who's that one?
That is Lori. Is it Loeffler? No, Loeffler is a homegirl from the Senate. But oh my God, this is an amazing photo. Hang on, sorry. The chat will know, I'm sure. But hang on. Wait.
So
I love how
so satisfying. So sad.
Yo, just like 24 of Modelo with my oversized jacket. There we go.
And I'm sure like the handler or the assistant was like, "I'll carry that for you." And like, "Nah, I got this."
Like, "Nah, it's mine." I do.
It's a suitcase of beer. I was imagining a 40 ounce, and I was like, "Oh, she's gonna go home and drink her 40 and call it a day." No, she's got a suitcase of beer.
The thing is, I feel like she should have just looted that, just for like old times. break into the Walmart. Yeah, bitches.
I'll give y'all some crime to be tough on.
Yeah, exactly. Starting with this. First of all, that's amazing. It's a celebratory Modelo. Like those are definitely, that's a pack for like celebration. Yeah. And instead, and I also really like how her handler, her person, or her security is dressed exactly like her. No disrespect for the suit. You gotta wear it, suit and it's good. It's good.
Just took everybody to Men's Warehouse and got extra large.
Sometimes they make a double for security purposes.
They do.
Decoy.
You're gonna like the way you look. Lori, you're gonna like the way. Oh, Lori definitely needs a little Men's Warehouse sponsorship. That'd be adorable. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know enough about Lori Lightfoot, so I'm curious about everyone, comments, and folks can weigh in. But I definitely think that Raph is right. It's a good lesson. And like, this is what happens when you don't deliver for people. And it is a little bit of a warning to, I mean, again, it doesn't necessarily translate on the federal level. We'll see. We'll see 2024 what comes with Biden. But I also don't think that Biden can do nothing between now and when he's facing re-election. What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/bitchuation room. Do it.